We're going to go off and do some work on what, everyone? Time, all right? Does everyone in this room, can everyone get more efficient on this? Yes or yes, everyone? Okay, very good. So, here's your first, what's those two words, everyone? Call it out. Time mastery, another flip chart coming your way versus time management. What's the difference between time mastery and time management? Round your tables, 2 minutes. Start with the person who is the most shit at time on your table. Okay, if you think you know the answer, jump up to the microphone. Only one at each, please. Let's have it up. Someone over there, thanks for volunteering. Maddie Wynn, thanks for volunteering. Okay, David, who are you, where are you from, what's your business?
G'day Bruiser, g'day EBS team. David Dugan, Abundance Global, and we're from Brisbane. So for me, the difference between management and mastery in time is something around value creation, and that as an owner, your ability to create even more value. And someone can be very effective or efficient in their time management, but actually not get a lot of things done, just moving paper around, versus someone who's in time mastery, which is the psychology of what is the highest value that I can do at any particular time. And so they're transitioning into that value. And it's also the emotion of bringing to that the feeling that it's not just about being disciplined, which sometimes I can have an issue around, it's about actually devoting myself and turning discipline into devotion around mastering my time and constantly seeing how I can add even more value.
Well said. Hopefully some people wrote some notes on that one, turning devotion into discipline. Is that what, or discipline into devotion?
Yeah, so instead of using the word discipline, turning that into a devotion of how can I enjoy this and how can I devote myself to this.
The other point I'll take out of David's comments there was someone can be efficient, but it doesn't mean they're actually adding any value. Raise your hand if you've ever done that. Yes, you felt efficient, but you looked down and there was not much value gained. Okay, love that. Give him a hand. Well done, David. Thank you. Matty Wynn, we'll go to you. Who are you? Where are you from? What's your business?
Matt Wynn from Wynn's Coaches down in Victoria. We've got a school bus business. Just to clarify, from the coaching personal development industry. But anyway, what David said sounded pretty good. But what we discussed on our table, time management would be like the doings, like your default diaries and the like, whereas time mastery is more on your efficiencies and someone that's got it nailed, like getting that optimum performance out of their time, better value,
Awesome. Give him a hand. Well done, Matt. Thank you. Good job. Yes, sir. Who are you? Where are you from?
Craig from Sabtool. Here it is on a bumper sticker. Time management is a fallacy, in my opinion. It's nobody can manage time. It's a finite resource that we have no control over. And time mastery is using and utilising your time to the best of your ability to have the outcomes you want.
I love it. Give him a hand. Well said. Thanks, Craig. Well done. Lucky last. Yes, ma'am.
For me, I think time management is when time manages you, and time mastery is when you manage time.
Okay, love it. Good insight. Thanks, Michelle. Give her a hand. Well done. So look, mine's actually a little bit, my distinctions on this are a little bit a mixture of what a lot of people just said then. I mean, just think about, hang on, wrong side, these two words here, time management. Now, is time a set variable set by the sun and moons and earths and all that type of thing? Yes or no? Yeah, it is. So again, unless you know some better way to squeeze out a physical more than 24 hours a day, it's a set variable. Write that down. It's a set what, everyone? It's a set variable. So if I can't manage physical time, I mean, I remember saying this to a guy who knows a lot about physics. You know what he said to me when I said that statement around you can't manage time? He said, well, not exactly, Bruce. Apparently, if you're near a black hole in the outer space, apparently something, it sucks, and then time does do, I don't know what it does. And I was like, yeah, okay, all righto. On Earth, I don't know how to do it, right? So if I can't manage a set variable, there's only one thing that I can manage, and that's myself around the set variable called time. Does that make sense? That's me managing me around a set variable. And for me, that whole principle is called what, everyone? Call it out. Time mastery, which links into David's point, is one of the outputs of utilising your time and mastering your own time is that there needs to be an add value. Okay, what does there need, everyone? You got to get profitable. You got to add value. It needs to be quality. We just can't be seen to be busy. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay, good. So, I'm just going to put up onto the screen, please. I'd like everyone to there should be some upside down handouts in the middle there. Could you please pass that around to everyone? This is called the time target. What's it called, everyone? Write it down in your notes. Yes, I know you got a handout there that you're going to take away with you, but I also want to make sure these are in your notes as well. Right, time target. It's got 4 different bands. How many bands, everyone? 4. Let's go and unpack them from the outside in. Down at 6 o'clock, down the bottom there, what's the bottom word in red, everyone? Distraction. Distraction. Up in the top of that same chart is in the blue there. It's where you do not urgent and not important tasks. Okay, so it's not urgent at that point in time, right? There's no real urgency to it, and also there's no, it's not important long term for you or the business. Does that make sense, everyone? All right, round your table. What are some tasks that you are doing, not your business, not someone else, just you, that puts you, if I followed you around with a video camera for a month, what would I see in tasks in your life, in your business, all right, both personal and business, that you do that takes you out to that outer band of distraction, not urgent, not important? Round your table, start with the person who's got the biggest guilty grin on your table. Okay, just call out what are some of the tasks that you end up doing that it puts you into a distracted mode. Call them out, there should be a few. Thanks, Mr. Zuckerberg. What else? The coffee machine, yep, righto. Which is important. Actual fact, write this one down, everyone, on Angie's point. It's that whole, that's actually normally called, and we talked about it on the wealth side a little bit this morning, that's called instant gratification. What's it called, everyone? Instant gratification. So what a lot of people do will pay themselves off too quickly with, for example, the simple fact of walking to the coffee machine, the tea station, etc. They've actually not finished what they should be doing, so they just say, hey, I'm going to give myself some instant gratification. I'll pay myself now, rather than, hey, stretch another 17 minutes or half an hour to finish what I was doing. I deserve it, and I'm going to break away, so I'm going to put myself into a distracted mode by doing that. Does that make sense, everyone? Who's been guilty of that? I should have just pushed on. I should have just been okay to be okay in the mud for another 10 minutes, but I took a breather. Okay, it only happens on small little bits, but does it happen? And the answer is, yeah, stop it. Okay, good. What are some other parts that take us into, or what other things do we do to put ourselves into distraction? Inbox, yep. So again, a lot of the time, who's with Chris, I think, said that, where the email can be the distraction, takes you off track, right? Good. You got to have a process for that. Write that down. If you all turn the indicator off, etc. Or just say, hey, I'm going to look at it at certain times in the day. Okay, there's another way to do it. What's some other distraction? Family. Dogs. Oh my God. General admin. Yeah. Right, good. Yes, sir. Yeah, interruptions. Raise your hand in your business if you've got an open door policy. Raise your hand. Stand up, please. All those people with oh my gosh. All right. All of those people sitting down, all the people sitting down, on the count of 3 to the people that are standing, you're going to give them some coaching and feedback. Are you ready? You're going to say on the count of 3, stop it. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Stop it. Have a seat. I do not agree. Again, now, if you're like an emergency surgeon in the ward, I don't think that that's a good policy to stop it, right? But for most people in this room, I'm going to say the people that were just standing up, I do not agree with an open door policy. Write that down. You can quote me, okay? Is because what you're doing is you're training other people that it's okay to distract you whenever they feel that they just want to have some help. Now, we also know, write this one down, everyone, that 80% of people that come to you with a question, what was the percentage? Already know the answer. Who's ever had that? You're hearing something saying, why am I being asked this? Raise your hand. Okay, good. And because you've got an open door policy, that actually anchors them in. I won't do... Who's ever seen me do transactional analysis? Parent, adult, child. Raise your hand if you know that principle. Right, because you do that, right, that just anchors them where, everyone? Child. So they'll still keep coming back to you saying, hey, mummy, daddy, what do I need to do here? Okay, stop it, right? Bring them up to adult by saying, look, I'm okay if it's an emergency. Cool, kick the door down. But in most times, if it's just, hey, general questions, this is when I'm going to do it across my week or my day. Or, hey, I'm going to take them on a certain medium. Write this down. It doesn't have to be just face-to-face. I mean, most people know this. We run all of our businesses on an app. What's that app called, everyone? Voxer, V-O-X-E-R. I'd be lost without that. I'm sure there's other ones like WhatsApp and what have you, but the reason, and I don't know, WhatsApp might have it, the reason I like Voxer is if you pay the premium, which is all of $30, you can have all these subgroups. So with EBS alone, I think we've got, what, Pete, we've got about 12, 13 different groups, something like that? Yeah, maybe more. Right, so again, if I want to speak to the whole team, there's a whole team Voxer. If I want to just speak to the heads of the departments, if I want to speak to the marketing team, the ops team, admin, etc., so that, and the beauty on Voxer, write this down, is it's one way. What is it, everyone? So you don't have to do a dialogue. It doesn't have to be, you can just get straight to the point, right? Which doesn't happen as much when you're in person on the phone. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So that's all on distraction. Let's go and unpack the next band, everyone. What's the next band up from distraction? Moving inwards there. Still at 6 o'clock, everyone. Delusion. It's different. Here's your difference. Write these down. You're doing urgent tasks at the time it feels like so urgent. But then I get done and I then go, hey, that wasn't actually beneficial long term, right? It's not that important. Let me ask you a question. Who's ever done this? Had a day, came home, crazy busy, and whoever was there to meet you, the dog, your life partner, your spouse, someone said to you, how was your day? And you've like keeled over and said, I've had the most crazy busy day, but I got nothing done. Raise your hand. All those people with your hands up, you're all what? Everyone call it out? You're delusional. Stop it. Right? Because essentially what it is we go from one fire, we put that fire out, we go over to another fire, we put another one out, etc. Who knows what I mean by doing that? The people with your hands up now, what is the emotion that you feel when you're going from one firefight to another firefight? Call it out. Confusion, stress, anxiety, frustration. Okay, write this down. It's unsustainable, team. What is it? It's unsustainable. Right? You can't keep that up for an exceptionally long time. Right? Here's a couple of the options, the people that live in delusion in that band. Here it is. You get tired. What's the first one? You get tired. Second one, probably not as good, but it comes from the first one most of the time. You get sick. Who's ever done that? Been firefighting, immune system gets down. Oh, I got the flu, I got blah, blah, blah. Who's done that? Come on, most of us have done that. Okay, that's probably more of a health expression, is you pick something up because the immune system just got down based on that, okay? Not good. So demand, what's demand hang on a minute. No, I won't go to demand. Let's stay in delusion. What are the areas in your business, right? I'll just home in on business on this one, that you allow yourself to go to delusion. Urgent, you get it done, not important, right? Where do you allow yourself? Write the big A word there. What's the big A word, everyone? Allow. Where do you allow this to happen in your business? That you got to stop. Round your table, discuss this. Everyone will be doing it somewhere, somehow, where you get hooked into the drama of going and doing something, but longevity on your business, it's not important. Start with the person who's going to drink too much tonight on your table. Let's go. Okay. I'd like one person each microphone. What did you come up with for you and your table? If you've not been up, I'd like to hear from you. Doesn't even matter if you have been up. Let's hear from you. They're all jumping up. Righto. Lockie, I think we've done intros on most of these people. What did you have, man?
Admin drama.
Admin drama?
Yeah, so probably once, maybe twice a month, we'll get a hard call from a customer that requires a bit of love, and our admin needs some more training in that area, you know what I mean? So I've got to step in and put out the fire. But it's urgent, hurry, quickly, make this call. And
so what do? Do you, you're off doing something else, you drop it, and then got to go and...
Go and give them some love. And it takes like 2 minutes, you know what I mean? It's like, just make the hard call, just do it.
So who does the call come into that gets referred to you?
Into the office, picked up by admin.
Okay, good. So how many pages is the script on dealing with that?
0.
Give him a hand. Well done, Lockie. Thank you. Yes, sir. Mitch?
Hey, Bruiser. Mitch from AMG Electrical in Kingaroy. Mine all sort of fall into the big broad category of just getting sucked back into business operations. So we've got the management team in place now that looks after the actual doing of the work. But a lot of my distractions are when I'm getting short-circuited by either the customers coming straight to me or the boys coming straight to me when there's actually a layer of management in between me and them.
That's very interesting. So what's the correction that you need to make there, Mitch?
So I think it's probably just, I think part of it's just a natural progression of having people that are new in those jobs. But then as I sort of stood up, it's maybe because I haven't properly given my management team the skills, responsibility and authority to manage their people properly.
Okay, so so well said. I've heard that before this weekend. Yeah, okay, good. So you've got the correction there. I don't need to do any more on that.
I don't know. I'm sure you'll tell me next month if I don't.
Well, no. It's not a told you so situation. It's a just from your. I mean, I thought Pete's session yesterday about what needs to train and how do you augment that org chart was very high quality. So I would have thought that whole law of empowerment, based on what you said there, should give you the tools to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think too, it's just a little bit of ego. Like I like fixing problems, even though I don't. I think it's a fucking pain in the ass at the time.
Yeah. So I mean, look, that ego thing when people do that. That's because we want to show people that we're good at what we're doing. It's actually on. You know how yesterday I talked about Tony Robbins' 6 human needs? Do you remember the 2 needs I discussed yesterday on that quality of life? Who remembers? A need for certainty and a need for variety. Here's the next 2 under this. Write these 2 down. The next 2 down are people either gravitate for a need for significance. What's the first one? Or they gravitate to love and connection.
I don't think of that one.
So when people are doing it from an ego place, normally they're gravitating over for a need for what?
Significance.
Significance, right? So, I feel good about myself, I knew this trade, I did all the years, etc. That's why I often say, imagine if we all started a business in something that technically we knew nothing about. Because when that need for significance comes in, would you have the technical skills to be able to go and fix it? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. You just have to run it like a business. You'd have to go, righto, well, I'll have to do something in the org chart, a system, hire someone, train someone, etc. Because, if I ran your company, I would electrocute myself if I went and tried to do anything because I know nothing about it. Okay? Anyway, it's a good one.
Awesome. Thanks, mate.
Give Mitch a hand. Well done, mate. Thank you. Yes, sir. What was yours?
Answering team members' questions. Specifically when it's actually quicker to answer the question. So the lesson, I know the answer, and that is what we call 131.
Which is?
What's the one question? What are your 3 solutions? And what's your 1 recommendation?
Love that. 131. Just say it again so everyone can write it down, Dave.
What's your 1 question? Your 3 options or solutions? And what is your 1 recommendation? And then say, great.
I like 2. What do you like? All that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Give him a hand. Well done, Dave. Like the 131. Second last. Bruce, what was yours, mate?
Yes, mate. Got to remember it now. Okay, yes, it's my personal... Okay, looking at my second business, which is Aponico Lifestyle Beanbags, I love customer service. And so if a phone call comes through to me, and we try not for that to happen, but if I end up getting it, I love taking them through the journey. I love talking with them about the colours, and I love talking with them about things and making them feel good. And that normally gets a sale. And that's good, but is it the best use of my time? Yeah, and I'm aware of that. And my wife, she's very aware of it, and she reminds me. And but I'm aware that looking at what takes me away from my core important thing that I need to do. And it's that's that important thing. We can go back to the KPI chart and all that sort of thing yesterday. Yep. But yeah, that's mine.
Okay, so I would also say that that's a default diary issue too, Bruce.
Yeah.
Is you're not blocked out because you're on a more of a mushy default diary. Therefore, rather than doing, hey, I'm being the systems coach today, you end up being the beanbag coach when
That's right.
the systems coach should have had priority because that's what the default was.
That's right.
So for me, it's just a lack on default diary.
That's right. And something that works really, really well that I use is a Pomodoro. Look it up, Pomodoro thing. You sort of put it on, it's a timer, and you just set, that's my next hour. And you just set it out, works really well. If I don't do that, that's what happens.
Just at the front end, just before you go, Bruce, you're right for a bit of coaching on this?
I'm more than happy. Yes.
Okay, attaboy. I think I may have also found the problem.
Yeah.
Is at the front end, you use the word try.
Yep.
I try not to. And any time I put the T-R-Y word into anything, write that down, everyone. I mean, it's a really low quality statement or intention, you know. Imagine if this room, you know, good vast majority said, I will try not to have a drink tonight.
That's right.
No, that's a lie.
That's right. Got to make a decision.
Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got it?
Absolutely,
Take
mate.
that out of your languaging, everyone.
I will.
Give him a hand. Well done, Bruce. Thank you. Yes, sir. What do you got? And who are you, firstly?
I'm Jared from Beauty and the Beard Eats and Events. I've got a barbecue shop up in North in Gympie.
You got multiple businesses up there, haven't you?
Well, that's what I'm here to talk about, mate, actually.
Righto.
Recently just launched a cafe upstairs and I went through both of those processes. I got really, really tired because I was trying to be everyone and I didn't trust anyone to do anything, and then I got sick. So, yeah, it was very interesting. I also drove back to Gympie this morning to put ribs on at 3 a.m. because I wanted to be significant, because that's my job. Every time we've done a rib day, I put the ribs on, and I was like, I'm not going to let anyone else do this. And yeah, anyway, so by the end of the night I might be a wee bit tired, but I probably didn't have to do that at all. I could have just let someone else do it, 100%.
Jared, you're doing an awesome job coaching yourself. I think I'm going to go and get a coffee. He's going to sit down too. All right. Great coaching. Have you got anything you want any help with, or are you all right?
I don't know, mate. No. I think everyone
You just want to have a chat. Huh? Come on.
everyone else
mate.
sort of said it. By the time I got there, everyone had solved my problem. So yeah. I'll tell you what. There's an opportunity.
Here we go.
It's about to close at 3 o'clock. So grab your bucket and head up.
So on a serious note there, Jared, there's going to be an auction item where Jared and myself have partnered in a low and slow cooking school at Campbell Station around one of my bars, and it's going to go for a lot of money tonight. This guy's going to teach everything he knows around cooking briskets, ribs, everything. Who's going to buy that?
Idiot.
Raise your hand. Okay. Yeah. So we'll give you a hand now. Thank you. Give him Okay. Last one, everyone. The second one in is demand. Now, demand is where you're doing urgent and important. This is like the fulfillment side of what you do. Okay, it's the execution. It could be the servicing of the product or the service, the production. Okay, it could be also, estimating, quoting for the people in the room that do that. Okay, so that's that. So demand's okay, but the one that doesn't get enough love is the center one there. What's the big capital letters, everyone? Call it out. Zone. The zone is the on the business part, right? The zone is the on the business part. It's the critical thinking. Okay, it's planning. What is it? Looking at the financials. Getting in the helicopter. A word I always use is a word that's called elevate. What's the word, everyone? Elevate is where you kind of get in that helicopter and look back down on the landscape. It's also about strategy, not tactic. Write that down. It's about strategy, not tactic. And the outer three bands there, that's in the business. The center of the bullseye there, or the time target, is the on the business. And a good mate of mine in New Zealand said it best to me once. He does a lot of this work as well. And he basically said, more in the business will keep you where you are. Working in the center of the time target, you'll get a transformation. That's coaching right in the center there, in my opinion. And he or she who does more work on the center will be able to grow your wealth, grow your business, grow your person the best out of anyone else. Because you'll get a transformation right in the center there. But look at the words above it, everyone. It's not urgent, but it's really important. It's not urgent. Now let me just give the average business in this room. On an average week, an average day in your business, is it urgent to go and do a marketing plan? Yes or no? No, it's not urgent. Is it highly important? Yes or no? Is it urgent to go and look at the gross profitability versus one product or services to the next? Yes or no? No. Is it urgent to go and look at your organisational chart and say, where do I got to be in 1 year from now, and what are the different scenarios for my org chart? Is that urgent? Yes or no? No. Is it highly important? Yes, it is. Okay? And big picture, I'm going to ask you the question, and you're going to table this around your table, is how many hours on average per month do you spend in the centre of that target? Average, last 6 months, be honest, right? Which includes the ramp up into any of our meetings, like a board meeting, an EUP meeting, a coaching session, right? Most people do this, by the way. You know, when's the packs and everything get written and the finale of the homework? In the last couple of weeks, yeah? Last night. You get my drift, right? So how many hours on average, honestly, are you spending in the centre of that target on an average month? Right, on the business planning, all the not urgent but really important. Round your table, this is 2 minutes max. Start with the person who's doing the most right now. Let's go. Okay, we're just going to do a little test and measure on the room. Everyone be upstanding. Thank you. Everyone up on your pins. So if you can't follow suit, you got to sit down on the answer. So on the business, the centre of this time target here, if you're spending less than 4 hours in a total month, which would be on average 1 hour a week, have a seat. I know there'll be, come on, be honest. Okay, good. Right, between 5 and 10 a month we're talking, a month. Okay, 10 to 20 a month. Okay, good. So these guys are all north of 20. Let me just have a look at who you are to see if I agree. And I probably would agree looking out at most of those. And you watch. Here's an interesting one. I wonder how many of either this group or the previous ends up getting an award tonight. There's an interesting point. Give everyone a hand. Well done. Have a seat. Thank you. Righto. So, we got to get more into the centre. So this is your exercise. I'd like you to, around the table, talk about your strategies around how you do it. How do you do your getting into the centre? Is it a default diary? Is it certain strategy tools, certain rituals that you or your business do to get you in there? Okay? And what I'd actually like to see is my ladies and gents in the room that are doing a lot more in this area. In a minute, you guys are going to be on the microphone giving coaching to the room on your strategy before I have a go. So, what do you do? What's some ways to get into the center of that target? Now, if you don't do very much, probably this is your turn more to take notes. Don't feel that you have to actually put something in as an option if you don't do it. I'm talking practical strategies on your table. So, the people I want you to lead if you do a lot of this, coach the other parts of your table. 3 minutes, let's go. Okay, I'd like 2 or 3 of my old hands who have done a lot of this up to the microphone, please. Matty Ryan, you're going to jump up, please. Carolyn or Simon Oakley Brown, you guys do a lot of this. Come on, there'll be other dudes that do a good job at this too. Let's hear you. Paul Kretzers, get your butt up, thanks. Right, I'm going to go ladies first. Carolyn, you weren't there first, but you are a lady.
Thank you, Bruiser. Carolyn, Oakley Brown Pharmacy Group in Health Screening New Zealand. I do a bit of a critical think, where I just, for those of you who don't know what that is, there's a video, Bruiser's got a good video on this, Keith Cunningham technique, I think, where you just get in a different room, no distractions, turn your phone off, get a pen, write the question that you need answering, and you'll help me with this a little bit, won't you, Bruce? And definitely do it with a pen or a pencil, because the words just flow. You go all through that, and then you refine it at the end of it, after your 40 minutes, 50 minutes, and you refine it and go through all the good ideas, and then at the next critical think, and the third critical think is where all the gold comes.
Love that. So that's your technique, correct? Okay, good. Give her a hand. Well done, Carolyn. Thank you. Dave, we'll go to you, mate. How do you and your business do it?
Great. Just sort of another level on the default diary. Days are themed based on the energy of where I'm better at. Like Mondays have a particular theme, steel activities, dotting I's, crossing T's. End of the week is different. So theming the day throughout the week. Within the day, also when am I best to do the high critical thinking, so mornings usually. Looking at the week and setting out what are the 3 high value activities for the week, and going, that's what I need to be my command's intent of what I need to get done. So it always brings you back, so I'm constantly looking at that. So that is a big part. So I think one of the single biggest thing is planning the week in advance. So that needs to happen on a Sunday before the Monday. If it's already Monday, the week's done, you're finished. Another part of that is to then review at the end of the week how you actually went, and then ask the question in a retrospective of what worked, what didn't, and then constantly improve on that. Turning notifications off on everything as much as possible. For me, it's totally off. Phone is always on silent, permanently. From a team perspective, we have project time. So throughout the week, it's planned time that no one can disturb anyone else, and they sit down there and they're all focusing on their projects. From a leadership perspective, so time blocking, another one, depending on the type of activity, is to change state. So I'll use a different computer, but I'll specifically move to a different place in the office, or move to a different place to do the different levels of critical thinking. So particularly if it's creative, I will go to a different place in the room. That sets me up, so I change my state based on how the emotion I need to bring when I'm doing that type of activity. We heard Pomodoros before, run them very, very well. But I'd say that from an owner perspective, the highest, best thing is to hire an incredible 2IC. And for me, that's Foos. So bringing in a 2IC becomes my shepherd, using AFL, becomes my shepherd, and they time block everyone else around me.
That's a massive list. It's a good one. Who thought that was pretty good? Give him a hand. Well done. Thanks, mate. Well done. Matt Ryan, who are you, mate? Where you from? And what's your business?
Matt Ryan, CareTech, LAS, RTM Cloud, and now Manage Investments. The guys so far took a bit of an operational look. We took more of a holistic look around the strategy behind it. So many, many moons ago when you and I were young, and we started off, Bruiser asked me to do an org chart for what I felt the business would be in 5 years' time. So doing that, we sat down and did the org chart with those, 1, 3, 5 million figures on it. Once the org chart's broken out, you then put all the hats on that you wear in that business at that time. And then it's about just taking those hats off, assigning competencies to those people so you can take a hat off. And, after probably 5 years now, I sit in a position where I don't wear any hats apart from working on the business.
It's awesome. I love that future org chart. But just for all the people, Matt, just to sort of double down on this point, it wasn't always like that. Matt used to have about 16,000 hats back in the day, but you've done a really good job of planning your way to have less. So I just want to...
Absolutely, yeah.
Yep.
I think I probably did a little bit of everyone's role back in the day. And I also then took on, open door policy, answering questions, love to get the ego and jump on the phone and do a bit of talking about the product, sales. You have to get your ego out of the room and you have to, work on getting other people to solve the problem for themselves. And once they can solve that problem for themselves, they no longer need to come to you. And as soon as they make you obsolete, you then get that time mastery.
Okay. Awesome, mate. Well said. Give him a hand. Thanks, Matt. Yes, sir. Who are you? Where are you from?
Paul Kretzers, Commercial Clean Australia here on the sunny coast. So this is my second business with Bruiser. So I've been with Bruiser for about 15 years. And I did what you said maybe about an hour ago. So you said something about imagine you had a business where you didn't know how to be technically proficient in it. So I run a cleaning business and have a zero interest in cleaning. I can't get out of there quick enough. So basically, like Matt, I just work on the business now. That's all I do. I try to get all those hats off as quickly as goddamn possible. So that was a little life hack. It's a bit late now if you own a business, but the business I chose to go into was a business that I liked the idea of the business and what it could do and the model, but I have zero interest in being sucked back into clean and dunnies. I've got a great 2IC who I spend my whole time saying, don't ask me that question, man, when he was brand new, until he could be proficient enough just to put all those spot fires out to keep me out of it. And I don't go to the office if it starts to get too hot. There's a little bit much operational chatter going around, I'm out of there, because I get dragged back in pretty easily. So I get the hell out of there and just go home, and I work well from home. And I'm really pretty tight on the default diary. So we do very good board packs as well. So I've got a big learning that the better my board pack, the easier a time I have in the hot seat. It doesn't get as hot, and I solve most of the problems before I get there. So our board packs are like books. So it takes 40 hours to put the bloody thing together, and then it takes me 20 hours to unpack it at the back end of that, and then I'll have a to-do list of 50 items by the end of this weekend. It'll take me 6 months to punch through. So if I can't find 50 hours a week, a month, 50 hours a month on the business from just being in this environment, there's something wrong. So, but it really does come back to I'm not a technician in the business, and I don't love it, so I don't get sucked in. That was a bit of a hack that from day one I thought was important. That's it.
So, firstly, awesome. How many cleaners in how many offices have you got running around currently?
About 140 part-timers in 3 offices.
Okay. But it wasn't always like that, was it?
No, man. No, we did the first clean. So
Yep.
Kate and I.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, look, it's a fabulous story, and I know that you and Kate have done massive on this time target getting to the centre, and you really prioritise it, and it's really a great example for this room, Paul. Give him a hand. And Kate, well done. Trev, what do you got? Last couple.
All right, yeah, Trevor Hughes, Asset Management Engineers in Perth. For those that have known me, look, time management, time master has always been my biggest Achilles heel. And I used to work, I would suggest, probably at least 80% of the time in the business, but I'd like to think that over the last 18 months, mostly post-COVID, I've reversed that and I've gone the other way. So I'm probably only spending 20% of the time in the business. And I guess my strategies for doing that, and it has been said before, but yeah, work remotely from the office. Don't go into the office. You don't get sucked into the distraction side of things. And the other one is I've actually, I guess, issued a standing instruction that I don't do any more billable work. I'm not available. So it's forced me to actually be working on the business, the things that are important for the long term of the business. So they're my strategies, and yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Trev. What was the reason why you couldn't go to the office?
Well, COVID locked me out. I live about 175.
But apart from COVID?
We had COVID last year in April for 6 weeks, and to be honest, I did a silly thing. I climbed onto my roof to clean my solar panels, and I slipped and fell on the roof. I didn't fall off the roof. I broke my shoulder socket, and I pulled the hamstring off my bone. So I was forced to change the way I ran the business because I had to stay at home on crutches and for another 3 months after COVID. And
so I always say, Trev, write this down, everyone. You can leverage your business 2 ways. You can do it voluntarily, or number 2, you can do it what, everyone? You get forced to, right? And although I'm happy for your leverage, and just so you know, everyone, the big fellas all going to plan at the end of this month is going to sell that business for a couple of million, and that's been on the drawing board for a couple of years now. I just wish we didn't have to have an injury to get you to leverage, but nonetheless, let's go and sell this for a couple of million. Give him a hand. Well done,
Bruiser.
Trev. Lucky last. Joel, what do you got, mate?
Yeah, g'day, Joel from Rockhampton Mobile Mechanic. I'm still very much in the business. I do work really hard to get as much done as I can on the business, and to do that, what I do is I really stick hard to the default diary. I've got it on my wall. It's very rigid, and I tell my team to piss off and leave me alone on the certain hours where I'm working on the business. The other thing I do is that time target. If I look up from the computer, I can see it right in front of me.
There's a good idea, is actually put the time target in front of you so that you've got that as a visual. So for the people that need to do more on that, that's probably a great strategy from Joel.
Yeah, and the other thing I do is my 90-day plan's sitting right there on the wall. So as I'm doing it, I tick it off and look up, time target, 90-day plan, default diary.
Yep, love it. Give him a hand. Well done, Joel. Thank you. Look, finally, I'll give you a tip from a tool or a strategy on a client that I coached many years ago, about over 15 years ago. This is what he did. When I taught him this particular principle, write this down. This was his strategy. 2 things. On email, he went off and created 4. There was a general inbox like most people have. Then he created 4 inboxes, sub-inboxes. Right, and guess what each one of them was called? Distraction, delusion, demand, zone. Right, and he would filter from the general inbox into all of those 4. And guess where he used to start thereafter? The zone, right? So he would do the distraction emails last, and that was his way to do it. I loved that, and he got a lot of traction on that. Who likes that strategy? Okay, good. Or, the demand, they might still, like a quote, for example, they might still need to be done, but I got to find somewhere way where I can over-prioritise that, outsource that, etc., etc. Okay? So, in terms of that, who's got some value out of time target and time mastery? Raise your hand. Say yeah. Okay, good. So, what you're going to give now is just a score, an overall score on time mastery to yourself. You're going to speak about it around your table, where you are. It could be a 4 out of 10, could be a 7 out of 10, etc. And then where do you want that to be within 90 days. You know, want to go from a 4 to a 7 or a 5 to a 9, whatever that looks like, and how you're going to do it. Round the table, this is going to be the wrap on this particular part. Start with the person who you think you should start with. Okay, everyone got some scores written down? Everyone got some scores written down? Say yeah? Okay, good.